Welcome back to FM Story. In our last episode in December, we managed to steady the ship a bit. January was more of a roller coaster, but we ended with a win, so hopefully that stands us in good stead going into a busy, tough February. We're currently sat 7th in the league. We're in the first knockout round of the Champions League, and we're still in the Copa del Rey. So hopefully we can progress in these competitions. There's still the threat of the sack, just because of how this season's gone. It wouldn't surprise me if we do manage to get the sack before the end of the season. But let's find out how it goes. Before we do get started, if you do enjoy the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get going. So February has been pretty much a month to forget. There's been a couple of high spots in the month, but generally we appear to be edging ourselves closer to the sack. We started with a 3-1 victory against Betis in the Copa del Rey, where we played pretty well. First half was a bit dull, but we created chances and took them in the second half and held on for a 3-1 victory. We then got dumped out of the Cup by Rayo Vallecano, in which we were absolutely atrocious and just got hammered. Sticking with the league, we had our customary hammering and red card against Real Madrid. Just even worse than the Vallecano game, which I didn't think was possible. Barcelona, we had 3 players suspended. We had to juggle the team around a bit. And overall, we didn't play too bad. The defence was a bit of a weak point, and Lewandowski kind of danced past a couple and slotted past the keeper to make it 3-2. But we were in the game. We were creating chances. We just couldn't take them towards the end to level it up. And then we went to Levante and just about nicked a draw. Basically, as soon as we equalised, nothing else happened. In the second half, there was actually no other highlights after the goal went in. So we've got a big game coming up against Real Sociedad in the league, basically only for bragging rights, because we're pretty much already... It's going to be extremely hard for us to even make the Europa Conference League this season. On the other hand, though, in the Champions League, so home tie against Milan, and we played them off the park in the first half. In the first game, first leg, won 2-0, really comfortable. They didn't really threaten much. So went into the second leg with the hope that we could hold on to that. Within half an hour, we were 2-0 down, and it was level on aggregate. We then went and scored just before half-time. Danny Vivian smashed the ball into the top corner from 25 yards. And then Griezmann popped up with one just after half-time to level the match on the night and put us 4-2 up on aggregate. Then they got 2 goals to level it up at 4-4 on aggregate to take it to extra time. They scored early on in extra time, and we nicked a winner. We threw everyone forward. I think we were playing with 2 up front as well, which we haven't done very much at all. And Villalba popped up with a late goal to level the tie on aggregate. And then we won on penalties. Slightly concerning with the last one, where Griezmann penenkered it, and as soon as the animation started, it looked like he'd skied it until it suddenly dropped into the back of the net. But we'll take it, and we've got a tie against Napoli in the round of 16. So obviously that's going to be a difficult tie as well. But hopefully we can play with some freedom in that, because the league's just been abysmal. Looking at the league table, we're currently sat in 10th on 35 points. We do have 2 games in hand on most of the teams above us, but that still wouldn't take us. That would take us to 7th, which might just about get us a Europa Conference League place, but that requires us winning the games in hand we've got, which, given how we've played this season, doesn't look overly likely. Somehow Nico Williams is the top goal scorer in the league. Not really quite sure how. And somehow Griezmann's got the most assists, or joint most assists. But really, I think I wouldn't be surprised if we don't make it to the end of the season. And if we do make it to the end of the season, I wouldn't be surprised if we are fired in the summer. But what we need to do is bounce back and win some of these games against the teams we've got left, particularly this game against Real Sociedad. It's a big one. If we lose that, then we're going to lose the fans as well. So it's important to get back onto it, because so far February's been abysmal. Going into the game against Sociedad, we've got pretty much a full strength squad available to pick from. The only player that's missing is Inaki Williams, who probably wouldn't have started. We have changed things up a bit again. Guillermon's gone back into the back four, and Inigo Martinez has come out, and Danny Rodriguez has come in, with Muniain dropping into the centre of midfield. And hopefully, with a bit of home support in a derby, we can get off to a quick start. I mean, in a way, it's quite good that it's so uneventful, because it means we're not conceding any goals. Right, first highlight of the game in the 30th minute, and it's going to be them going up the other end to score, isn't it? Yep. Oof. That was far too close for comfort. It's been a really, really dull game. Sunset with the corner. I mean, we kept a clean sheet. It's about the only positive to come from that game. That was truly dreadful. That might have been the one game in FM history that I've seen that's had the least highlights. Still some issues to work on. So, March hasn't really been seen us be able to turn around our form any. Since the game against Sociedad, we went into the game against Rayo Vallecano and got hammered by them like we did in the Cup. We were just nowhere in that game. And then we went to Betis, we played Betis at home and got hammered by them as well. And at that point, we decided, do you know what? We're not doing well defensively with a normal formation. Let's kind of go for it a bit. And it worked relatively well against Napoli. We were 2-0 up and then conceded 3 after that, which, I mean, the chances are we probably would have done that anyway, given how we defend at the best, or have defended at the best of times in the last couple of months. But it paid dividends against Osasuna, and we won 4-1. Going into the second leg against Napoli, I think we were a bit hard done to. We had a couple of really decent chances before they scored, and had we taken them, then it could have been a different game. But basically, as soon as they scored, that was them 2 goals clear on aggregate, and it was the end of things. That was the end of our run in the Champions League. We've got Villareal coming up before an international break here. We are currently sat in 10th in the table. We've got 2 games in hand on Malaga in 7th, which is the Europa Conference League spot. But Espanyol in 8th also have 2 games in hand on them. So it's going to be very, very tough to finish the season with anything resembling European football for next season. And basically, we seem to be lurching from being stable in our job, which we currently are, to insecure, depending on whether we I think after the Betis game it was insecure, and after the Osasuna game it went back to being stable. No matter what, I'm fairly certain that come the end of the season, it's going to be the end of the road. I think if we don't qualify for Europe, chances are we're going to get sacked. But, I mean, to be honest, if things don't go well attacking-wise in this next game, we could be getting sacked after this Villareal game as well. So going to the Villareal game, we're going to stick with this basically 4-1-5 formation, just because if it's anything like the Osasuna game, we might create some chances that we can stick away. And basically the way we've defended this season, I think it's going to be a case of we're going to need to score quite a few goals anyway. Inaki Williams and Nico Williams are both on the bench because they're both just starting back from injury and illness. Danny Rodriguez is on the bench because he's starting back from injury as well. Sunset's form's really kind of nosedived in the last 2 months. So we're going with the back four, Zubimendi in front of them. We've got Villalba and Griezmann through the middle, with Muniain and Serrano out wide, and Guerrero in behind the front two. Let's see if we can get off to a decent start. We've had a lot of the ball so far in the first 5 minutes. We just need to do something with it. Right, we've nicked the ball back there. Right, Javi Lopez. Lovely goal. Reminiscent of the one that Unai Jimenez scored against Napoli in the second leg, just smashing it home, coming up from left back. And here's where clean sheet goes. For an international number one goalkeeper, he just stands there and dives out the way of the ball an awful lot. It's not a great deal of anything happening now. I mean, that's not even the formation, because we had enough players back to deal with that. It's just a stupid tackle from a captain. Hmm. They've not done too badly. We'll give them another 15 minutes before we start making. Oh my god. I mean, whatever formation or team we played, this result was coming, because it's just the way we've played all season. Just seems strange that a team that's been able to finish third and 4 seasons in a row has suddenly just dropped off. And it's not even like the players have got old. I mean, Inigo Martinez is retiring at the end of the season. Muniain's 33, 34. But the rest of them should just be coming to the prime. Well, we still have a job, so it's youth intake time. So we've got 3 elite talents, 4 top talents, and some good talents. Yet another left winger, which is probably although, wow, 20 determination to go with that, although outspoken and volatile is interesting. That could be, I mean, it could be a shadow striker kind of situation there, I think. Although he's best at the moment on the left. I mean, he's only 5'7", which continues the same problems we've got with the rest of the squad. 5'6" for this one. 2-footed. Another left winger, or more probably, yeah. Someone that can play in behind the front man. 5'7" again. So that's 3 players in the tallest of the 5'7". But this one's quick at least. And he's a mercenary. Well, Diaz showing as a left back, but a better centre half. At least he's 6'2", but he can't hit the ball for anything. He's weak as anything, but he is only 15, so. Another left winger, but actually probably a striker. Finishing though, it's going to need some work. Got some players with good determination coming through. Another, well, I suppose he's a right winger, but no pace really. And 5'8". Although it says it's a golden generation and an excellent intake and all that kind of thing, I think this is probably the weakest of the last couple of seasons. And I think the only one that really stands alongside what we've had in the last couple of seasons is probably Vallejo here. Even if he is outspoken and volatile, but the technicals that he's got already, the physicals in terms of fitness in particular, is pretty good. The determination, the off the ball, I think he's going to develop into a really decent player. But I don't know that we can say the same for everyone else that's in that youth intake. And that's the end of this episode. Somehow we've managed to hold on to our job. Whether we manage to make it to the end of the season or whether we even survive at the end of the season, we'll find out next time. So see you then.